Hey everybody, it's Chris and welcome back to Something Else Amiga. What do we have on the show today? We have a package from Mr. Michael. I had to save your thing because that way I know whose piles are what. I thought I got this really cool, whatever this is, Albion Live Pro Tools microphone, second generation in-out USB audio interface studio pack, but it's $1,200. Michael reached out to me in email for a recap, and he even went to retrorewind.ca and got his own capacitors. That's cool. I've already unwrapped this to take a peek, so we'll double check for a note. No note, but Mr. Michael is probably about 50 miles from me. We have an Amiga 1200. This is a 1B, exactly like mine. You got the 3-wire factory fixes for the budgie timers and stuff, and the video DAC. So this was just in for a recap, and it looks very clean. But first, I got the 1200 Sprint layout viewer up on the screen here, so I can check for any issues and hoojamabobs and whatever. I turn off all the layers except for the top and the silk screen because you can toggle between whatever layers you want, and it gets pretty complicated when you're trying to look and trace something when you have every single layer turned on because it's a 4-layer board. Cool. So with that, I'm going to fire this up. Well, I'm going to hook this up. I don't have a keyboard for this. I am going to reach out to Mr. Michael and ask if he wants me to remove that RF modulator, because you know they're just great. So removing this RF modulator also gives you space to use something like an AGA Mark III, Mark II, RGB to HDMI if it ever comes out for the 1200. You can use this for a VGA port. You can use, instead of shooting it way over here to the expansion slot, you know, you have options. PyStorm 32 lights HDMI out there. So I'm going to shoot him an email and see what he wants to do. We're going to test both the composite video, that should be in color because we have that CXA 1145, takes the Chroma Luma, shoots it out the modulation science. This is on RGB or VGA converted, in my case with the Amiga kit adapter. It's going to take a few seconds because, again, I lost my DF0 Terminator. I don't know where it's at. I've lost 4 of them. They're on somebody's board. And there we go. That took a while. 3.2 ROMs. I was wondering why I'm seeing the jail bars. Eduarana makes this new thing. This thing, it's like double buffered and has no bars. So that's going to be something I've been trying to get a hold of, but his store is always out of everything. Do you even sell stuff anymore? So I'm going to go to composite video. This is on the single wire here. And there we go. Composite's working fine. It actually even looks better on this display. A little fuzzy because it is in that mode. So the Amiga works. We know that's cool. You know how I remove caps. You can say what you will. What works for me may not work for you. I am a professional. I have been doing this for over 35 plus years, probably 40 something years. I'm not saying I'm old. I'm just saying I got experience. So the way I do things may not work for you. So please use caution if you choose to do things the way I do them. But I cut my caps and I peel the aluminum. I snip the 2 teats that are left over from the legs, remove the rubber, and the plastic piece pops off. You've seen it before on my channel, but I'm reiterating for those who may be joining us for the first time. Then I take a soldering iron and I poke the leg, I get the legs, remaining legs off of the pads, and then I flux and braid remove the leftover solder and clean it up with IPA. If there's any damage to any pads, we'll hit it with a light white vinegar, just for a little flavor. That's also a light acid that reactivates all the goop, and you can then clean that up and neutralize it with IPA. Vinegar helps with removal on certain caps, mainly over here near Paula. That always poops out on me on these 1200s. I've shown in the past how I remove this keyboard thing. It gives you an extra little bit of room in the back to work with. Now, since this one's doing well, it doesn't look too bad. There's no major damage to this board. Check this out. Up here in the old composite video deathland, around that video encoder and the DAC right, where's my thumb? There. You usually have some leakage up here. This through hole doesn't usually leak, and over here, audio and the behind the keyboard connector. So they're all good. We have one small decoupler. Where's the over here? And then we have the small leaky ones and little bits and bobs. PCM CIA is hanging on to quite well. Because I don't want to trigger anybody, I'm just going to remove the caps and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. But I am going to cut one on camera because it gives people heartburn. Oh no! What happened? You cut a cap. You're going to hell. Do a relief cut. Snip your two remaining teats and the plastic piece comes right off. You can see here I have what is left of the legs. I will touch them with a cold soldering iron and remove the, it's cold, haven't turned it on yet. Touch them with the iron to remove the legs and then debraid it with some Kester 186. Cool. So I'll see you in just a second. For me, it might be a little while. It is 11:59 Saturday morning. This board's been recapped. How do I know? Right here. If you have ever done an Amiga 1200, you'll know this doesn't have a cap. It doesn't need a cap. C460 does not have a cap. What cap is this? CU. Who is CU? There's two showies left out of the 4, but the 1000s are CU branded. Who the hell is CU? Chinese universe? I don't know, but that's where I'm at. I just removed these. So I'm removing it, and the case on the bottom looks great. There's some fingerprints, of course, from people taking this out, touching it. The bottom's has been touched a lot, so we'll clean that up at the end. I almost forgot. Today's video is interrupted by Mr. Keith R. in Canada. Just fixed his 2000 with some of my help on the vias near the resistor pack. Great job. So I just had a micro drill out one of these through hole grounds because it was a real concrete whatever. And then I washed it with Hooper's Hooch. That's the 99.9% horsepower donated to me by Mr. Chris Hooper himself. Thank you so much. 1247 Omnibots clock. Done. You can see everything came out very nice. No traces lost as usual. I did have to bust out big ol' hoss here. This is my ZNY Zenny whatever 853D multi hot air. Used to be cut it soldering station power supply, whatever. It's Chinesium, but this sucker will go to 600C where that 75 watt Heiko not strong. I had to because some of those through hole ground points are thick, and I needed the extra power and the small tip to get enough heat on there to get through that ground plane. I have removed the owner's RF modulator. If they want it on, they can put it back on. I needed the room to get that last through hole out next to the video slot. Just couldn't get in there because that ground plane was tough. Helping Mr. Keith again with a 2001 Meg upgrade. But this is done. I can let this cool on the floor behind me now that I have 2 feet of room. We're good to go. I'm just gonna blitz through them. 18 caps. I know where they go, and if not, I got a map. Okay, so this unit was definitely recapped because there's a burn mark on the plastic. I haven't even gotten to that part yet. I was only using cutters, so that's definitely been cut and replaced. Also, the white audio connector is not original. She's a little fatter. So that's also been replaced. Modulator's been removed. Everything came out nice and clean. And now I'm going to go for a recap like I said I was going to, but I just saw that. And 42-pin ROMs have been installed from, I don't know where this sticker's from. Hi, it's 1:30 p.m. and the Amiga's done. 1200 recapped, all cleaned up. My big trash pile here. I'm gonna return the user's RF modulator in his retro rewind cap bag. Since he lives so close, I may, if I can get a hold of him, take a ride to Micro Center, which is kind of like really close to the owner of this board, and just drop it off. It sure beats shipping or risking any. If I don't have to, I don't, if you're close enough, I'm just coming to your house. Hell, I'll drive 8 hours to pick an Amiga up. I don't mind, because I'm stupid. Let's go for the final test. Let me clean this up, debooger the crap, and just get some stuff out of the way. There, how's that? Squirted it down with Hooper's Hooch. That's 99.9% horsepower. Let's find where I throw all my crap. These are Amiga kit replacements. They're like melted together or something. Glued together? I don't know. It works. It just takes a little bit. There we go. So there's our kickstart screen. Let's go to the RGB. Should still be on. RGB. Bada bing. Amiga's recapped. It works. Turn it off. Replacement Dell does 15 kilohertz again, although the PAL machines seem to kill it just a little faster. But that's okay. It's good to know that it's doing it again. Alright, I need to clean this up. Keyboard connectors back on. Didn't burn anything. Did notice that one recap around the keyboard plug here. I used the small caps. Yeah, they got red on them because that's what I do. It's how my brain works. Got to count. And when you're looking at silver on silver and you can't see to begin with, and you have to have this and this, and you look like that dude from Trailer Park Boys. So Mr. Michael's board is all done. I'm going to put the unit back in here, wipe out the fingerprints the best I can, and then we'll clean up the bottom with some gloves. Got these new Kick Butt Kimtech wipes thanks to Mr. Hooper and friends. Stefaan, and everything's cool. Thank you guys for coming along on this journey. And until next time, we thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?